Hello there, and welcome to Women's Business.
My name is Dr. Marianne Shallcross Smith, known to most as Dr. Daycare, and this is my co-host, Amy Vogel. We'd like to welcome you to our mentoring program designed to educate our community on issues facing working women. We will be speaking to our guests in the areas art, sciences, health, education, law, medicine, politics, community service, military, and business.
The goal of the show is to provide information that comes only from personal experience and to pass this information down to our daughters, nieces, neighbors, family, and friends. Much of the content will relate to the guest speaker's journey in their profession, what they have learned most about this process, and what they wished they had known before this journey began. Since women-owned businesses are the fastest growing sector of our economy, my guests will close with what lesson they would like to pass on to the viewing audience.
Hello there. Thank you for joining us on Women's Business. We are honored to welcome Amanda Hannon, and she is joining us from Hannon Realty Group. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good, good. Really good. We'd love to hear about your journey. Tell us about how you got here today.
Absolutely. So I went to Rhode Island College. I graduated
I'm a
with
graduate of Rhode Island College too.
education degree, elementary education, special education. I wanted to be a teacher since I was a little girl. And then when I got out into the field, I realized that it wasn't really what I thought it would be. I love kids. I love trying to make a difference, but it just didn't feel like it was meant for me. So I went to get my real estate license, and I've been doing it for 8 years now.
Wow.
And why real estate? Like, why did you go from teaching? I understand wasn't the fit for you, but what made you jump to real estate? What interested you?
So I had just graduated college, and I wasn't really interested in going back for my master's right away. And I was always kind of interested in the real estate industry, and it was always something I was curious about.
Yep.
And you know, it's one of people's biggest investments.
Yep.
Yes,
So
it is.
I felt that I could take my education background and kind of merge it into something that could make a difference for people, you know, get them to that American dream. So I decided to go get my real estate license and never look back.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, you said it was one of your biggest investments. I just want to say, at 67 years old, January, just last month, I paid off my first house.
Awesome.
So it's a big investment.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, mortgage payment,
Right.
that was like always part of my life, you
Yep.
know? Yeah.
It's true.
It's a big investment.
It
And of
really
course,
is.
like anything else, you go when you purchase a house, but then you add to it, remodel it, you
Yep.
keep adding on to the mortgage and extending the years.
Right.
The next thing you know, it's paid off.
Yep.
It's a
And
long
you're
time.
Building
yeah.
your own credit while you're at it.
Good
So-
point. Good
Yeah.
point. Very good point, Amanda. Yeah. Why special ed? I'm curious at the beginning.
So I had a cousin who had special needs, and I kind of always had a soft spot in my heart for kids with challenges. I did a lot of work in high school with that population, Best Buddies, and when I graduated, I started a bullying prevention organization, and I just really kind of had a passion for that population. So that's what I went for.
That's
It's
amazing.
interesting. You go to college for education and so many options,
Yep.
and you went into real estate.
Yep.
Wow. What do you need?
Well, I think a lot of times when you go to college, it's pressure to get, what are you going to be, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
You're like, okay, well, I have 4 years to figure this out.
Yep.
But really only have 2 years because you got to get on track to
Right.
take the right classes.
Absolutely.
And you're young.
Right.
You're what, 18 to 22 years old?
Right.
Like when you look
Yep.
back, that's like a kid.
Right.
And they're asking you, what do you want to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a big decision. So I think a lot
Absolutely.
of times people go to college with what they think they want to do.
Yep.
But the experience when they're there helps them to really guide maybe what they want to do right after school versus what
Right.
they thought they wanted to do.
Exactly.
Our team at Dr. Daycare and Kids Club got involved last year in Papia, Rhode Island. And Papia, Rhode Island is juniors in high school are going to be going into their senior year, become interns in business. And the state of Rhode Island takes over the whole grant. You invite them in, so we invited them, Rebecca invited them in to be marketing, Kids Club invited them to be teachers in the camp in the educational process of the summer. And they wrote a whole curriculum on civics, which is so amazing, and we're implementing the curriculum. But we went yesterday for the breakfast for the kickoff of 2020, and one thing that was significant that was said by the governor is so many students have gone in their junior year and worked where they thought they wanted to work and got in there, and it was a great summer for them, but that's not where they wanted to be.
Right, exactly.
I go, I never thought that would be a great outcome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's almost like
absolutely.
what you and Amy were just saying. Yeah.
And you don't really know what the field really is until you get
No.
out there.
It's all in your imagination, your book.
Exactly. Yep. And I always wanted to be a teacher because I actually had a teacher in elementary school who I'm still close with. And she definitely impacted me. I wanted to be just like her since I was in her second grade class.
That's wonderful.
But she was a teacher that you can't really be anymore because there's just so much, standardized testing and all of that. And I wanted to be the teacher that she was. And unfortunately, it's not possible.
Yeah. It was shifted,
Yep.
absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's great, though. I hope they continue this with high school kids and college kids, that they step their foot in the water, so to
Absolutely.
speak, to see if they actually like it.
Right.
Because I think you're so young, right?
Right.
And these kids are making these decisions for their life. Like, I think we need to kind of say, no, it's not for your life.
Absolutely.
You might decide that you want to be an accountant, and then you go to an accounting firm, although you're good in accounting, and you're like, ooh, I don't really like this, whatever happens.
Right.
So I think more exposure at a younger age is critical.
Absolutely.
Versus
I agree.
just being like, okay, well, here's a book and a pamphlet of everything you
Right.
well, it was a book when I went to college. It's probably online now.
Yeah.
You are aging yourself, Amy.
Here's a book and a pamphlet of all the careers you could do. Pick one.
Right.
And you're going to pick one that you've probably been exposed to either at home
Yep.
or going to school.
Yep.
And they say most kids either pick what's family oriented or teacher, doctor, lawyer, fire, police, because it's what they know from their community.
Right. Absolutely.
They don't know those like microbiologists
Yep,
or
absolutely.
engineers or architects, and I really think they should work on exposing kids at a young age.
Definitely, I agree.
Because you could have decided at 16 you wanted to be a real estate
Right.
agent.
Absolutely.
Play Bobby selling houses.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you go back in your childhood, is there anyone you can see as a mentor or someone who influenced you to be a businesswoman today?
So my mom definitely was, she didn't own a business, but she ran a business. And she just worked her tail off. And I just always watched her. And, I knew the type of woman that I wanted to be just watching my mom and kind of seeing the mother she was and the hard worker that she was. And I knew that I wanted to follow in her footsteps as best as I could.
How'd your mom balance it? I'm always interested. I asked that question because I'm still trying to figure it out.
So my mom was very fortunate to have a position where it was flexible around us.
Fabulous, yeah.
So she could pick me up at school every day. She never missed a day.
Nice.
I would always ask her to be there 15 minutes early, and I'd go to the bathroom and make sure she was there, and she always was. So she mostly worked nights and weekends when my dad was home. So I have great memories of going to the zoo, going fishing with my dad, and then also helping at her job. She managed a bakery for years.
Oh, wow.
And so whether it was behind the counter or just cleaning up, and so I think I got my work ethic from that as well.
Yes, you did, absolutely.
Basically
Thank you,
saying
Mom.
every
Yes.
job is doable and can be done, and it's not based on their position.
Right, exactly. Yep,
You just jump in when you can.
right, exactly.
So tell us the most exciting house you've ever sold and like how it made an impact on you.
So I would have to say
I'm sure you sold many, but
Yes.
sometimes some just
I love my first time home buyers. There's just an excitement with them that is just unlike any other. There's one client in particular. She was involved in a terrible car accident.
Oh, gosh.
She was hospitalized for months, if not a year.
Oh, dear, dear.
And she has lifelong effects from it. And out of that accident, she received a settlement, and she was able to buy her first home. She was probably in her late 40s. She had teenage children, and it was just an amazing process to watch that unfold for her, something that she never thought would happen.
Absolutely. Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's kind of left a mark on me. Yeah.
Now, right now the market's doing pretty well.
Yes.
Not much inventory, right?
Right.
Now, have you been in a market when there's a lot of inventory and not many buyers?
Yes.
How do you balance it? So
Good question.
you have the inventory, not enough buyers, not much inventory, a lot of buyers. Like,
Right.
Either way, it can be hard, right?
Right.
How do you balance that?
So I feel like there's always home buyers, no matter what. And it's just trying to find that right buyer for the home. It could take a little longer when there's not a lot of buyers out there, but there's a buyer for every home, and it really is just the right marketing to reach them.
That's great. Now, how many people are on your team?
So I have 3 people on my team.
Oh, wow.
We're a small boutique firm. I opened 2 years ago, so I worked
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I worked for another company prior, and it's just a very small, quaint company. We do have intentions of growing, but right now we're enjoying our kind of family dynamic.
That's great.
I was going to talk to you about the family dynamic.
Yeah.
As you can see, we have a mother-daughter team.
Yep.
You had mentioned earlier that Dad works with you.
Yes.
Tell me how it is working with family.
So my dad and my mom actually work for me.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Hey, we could learn a lot today.
Right? So my mom retired a couple months before I decided to open up my own brokerage. My brother and his wife were expecting a baby, and it was just time for my mom to step back and be a grandmother full time. Little did she know I was planning on opening a business, and so she has become my office manager.
Oh, that's wonderful.
She does a lot of my marketing, scheduling. She really does all the back office things. She did go to school to get her real estate license, but she just wasn't passionate about it. She'd rather do the behind the scenes things.
It works for her.
So absolutely. And it works for me because she's great at it. So she works for me. And then also my dad got his real estate license right before I went out on my own, actually, to assist me in showings and open houses and home inspections, things like that. He was working full time at the time, so he could only do it on the weekends and nights. But he has since retired. So he actually has kind of came on full force, and he has taken over our property management division. So he also dabbles in sales, but his main focus is property management and rentals.
Oh, great. So you own property within your real estate group as well?
So we do, but we do property management for investors.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
That's going to. So you're just not selling homes.
Right. We're a full service brokerage.
That's great.
So we offer, obviously, you're buying, you're selling, rentals, property management, and we also have a staging division.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
For 3 people, I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We have our hands full, but it's something we enjoy doing. So when you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. When you got that passion,
Yep.
you enjoy doing it, it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
I totally get that.
Exactly.
I get that. Even though it is, it doesn't feel
Right.
like it.
Right.
Then you look back and say, that was work.
Yep.
And when you're going through it, it's all passion.
Right.
And mom and dad and daughter, how about the roles? Sometimes it's like mom and dad or mom and dad and you the daughter, and now
Right.
it sounds like you're running the business.
Right.
How do you move through that?
So my parents and I have a very good relationship. We always have, even my brother. So it's not difficult for us, thankfully. But we always joke around that I'm my dad's boss, and kind of make jokes and poke fun at it. But it's been working very well.
That's great.
Kind of balance each other out. When I'm busy with something, he can kind of take over for me for that appointment or whatever. So
Yeah.
That's great. Now, how did you decide to go on your own? Like, because I'm sure you're part of a different real estate agency, and I'm assuming it was probably well established.
Right.
So to decide, like, okay, no, I'm going to do this on my own. What gave you that grit to do it?
So I was always, I guess you could say, a go-getter. And
That I know, absolutely. That I truly know.
And when I got into the business, I had a goal of being on my own.
Okay.
And I have goals of expanding, and it's not going to stop here. But at that point, I needed to get the experience. I truly enjoyed working for the company that I worked for, but it got to a point where there was no growth opportunity. I was at of course, in real estate, you're on commission, so I was at the top commission step. The education was great, but I was bringing in all my own business. There really wasn't much that the company was doing for me at that time that I couldn't do on my own. And then in addition, I am very passionate about giving back to the community, whether it's law enforcement, teachers, any first responders, nurses. So I had a lot of plans in my mind that I wanted to go out and develop And I couldn't really do that when I was working for another company because you have to follow protocol and get it approved and whatnot. So that was really the main reason why I decided to go out on my own. It was all a whim. I decided one day that I wanted to take my broker's exam. I took my broker's exam. I didn't study.
Wow.
I just wanted to see where I stood.
Yeah.
I passed it.
Oh, wow, that helped.
So yes, and I'm a big believer of signs. So I just kind of figured, you know what, these are all signs, and it's time.
And it sounds like you wanted to be the decision maker.
Right.
So I know owning a business myself, there's like such many protocols sometimes to go through. And sometimes I feel bad for my staff because by the time they go to 2 or 3 people, it's like, oh my goodness gracious, well, I just can make that decision for me and my daughter because she runs a business now per se. But so I get that. So you are the first line and you can make those decisions and go forward. You brought up a very good point there.
I feel like I had good ideas, but when I would bring them to the front, you know, maybe they didn't.
It's not what they.
Right. It's not in line with what they had thought.
Absolutely. That's all it comes down to.
Right.
It truly comes down to that.
So one of the things that I created when I went on my own is the Hannon Cares program. So what we do through that is we adopt a classroom every year. So one in particular was in North Providence. We know that teachers, from being in that field, we know that they have to go and empty their pockets to fill their classroom every year. So we try to take that burden off as much as we can, and we adopt a classroom. We are part of Homes for Heroes, so we give back a percentage of our commission to any heroes that use our services. We do a lot of things in the community through our Hannon Cares program, and
That's wonderful.
That was really one of my main reasons I wanted to give back.
I'm a Facebooker, and actually that's how I've been able to follow you on Facebook. It does have its major benefits in that way.
Absolutely.
I'd peek in, see what you were doing, get a sense of your babes that.
My business
so that
babes,
at Christmas time you had a Christmas, some type of Christmas celebration going on. I remember reading that, but I would always go and I always check people in business and see exactly what they're doing. But you do a lot, you really do.
Thank you.
You can tell you're really committed to being a woman in business
Thank
and
you.
being in the business world.
So what is Business Babes? Is that what it is?
Yes.
I love the name. Huh?
Yeah, it's fun.
So it's been going on for about 1.5 years now. I started a women's networking group called Business Babes.
Cool.
So it's not just for business owners, but any women in business. It's exclusive to each category, so there's only one real estate agent, one insurance. We meet once a month at my office in Lincoln, and we just collaborate, run ideas off of each other. We're going to be starting a video campaign, so business owners and business women that want to start video, they can come to my office. We'll have certain sessions where we can film video, and then we also do a lot in the community for fundraisers. Actually, just last Thursday, we had a Roaring 20s event. It was on 2/20/20.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was for Road Home Rescue, and we had it at Ravenous Brewery
in Cumberland.
In Cumberland, so it was a great event, and that's really what we try to do. We try to get out into the community, but then also run ideas off of each other and build each other's business.
That's wonderful.
And how often does that group meet? Is it monthly or weekly?
Yes, we meet. Typically, we meet the first or second Wednesday of the month, depending on our schedule, and we meet at my office in Lincoln.
Nice. And how many people are part of the group?
So we have about 10 right now.
That's good.
So you're growing. Once
Yes.
again, you'll grow that.
Yep, absolutely.
That's great.
If anyone wants to get involved in that, how would they get in touch with you?
So we have a Facebook page, Business Babes,
Yep.
or you could always reach out to me directly. But yeah, we're always open. There's no charge to get involved. It's completely free. We just ask for your participation.
A lot
That's
of sharing going on.
Right.
And they actually all become your, how can I put it, soldiers out
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And we, maybe I'm good at social media, but someone else is good at cold calling or something like that. We can kind of
You're all helping each other.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now, when you first started in real estate, what did you really love about it, and what were you like not a fan of? Like, for example, if I had a cold call, that would be like my least favorite thing.
Yes. So
But-
that is not something I enjoy.
Okay.
I don't do it, in fact.
Yeah. But is that one of like the steps they have you do, or no?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
If you have a large sphere, a lot of people that you can be successful without
Got it.
doing cold calling. Luckily, I had my hands in a lot of things when I got into real estate, so I did know a lot of people. And I'm also at the age where a lot of my friends are now buying homes. So
That's nice
it
network.
Yes, absolutely.
Great network.
So when I first got into real estate, I just did rentals for the first about year. I loved it, but it was a lot of running around for little money because you're only getting a percentage of 1 month's rent.
Yep.
And what I really love about real estate is being able to take my education background and truly educate my buyers and sellers on the process. There's a whole lot that goes on, and more than you could ever imagine. And there's stuff that's behind the scenes that you don't really need to know what's going on, but there's a lot that you really should be educated about. And I feel that not everyone takes that approach. So I am really passionate about educating my clients from start to finish, and that's what I really enjoy about my
This
job.
is a personal question.
Yeah.
Open house versus virtual, going on the line and seeing it.
Yes.
Is open house going away?
Open houses are definitely going away.
Good, good.
I can't tell you how many clients I've had in the last several months that
Because Saturday and Sunday is such family time. And you know what I'm saying? It's like people, it can spend 4
It's more
5 hours.
scheduled, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you
And
go in and out, yeah.
the thing that a lot of my clients are worried about nowadays is the security.
Yes.
I always do my open houses with 2 people for that reason. 1, to protect what's in the house, and 2, to protect ourselves. But it's just not the same world that
It's not.
we're in as before. So I've noticed a lot of my clients saying, no, I don't want open houses. And there's ways around open houses. You could do group showings, which kind of does the same thing, but they're qualified people. You know who's coming in the door. It's
Absolutely,
not
yes.
So
just
other real estate agents will say, I'll bring my potential buyers. Is that
correct.
what-
So you can say, I'm having a group showing 12 to 1. Please confirm attendance. You know who's coming.
Very
It's not
nice.
just anybody off the street.
Street.
So a lot of people are going towards that way. And then some people too are, yep, open house is fine. Whoever can come in, they're not, they're not concerned. And we'll do open houses if somebody wants
Absolutely.
them.
I just wanted people shying away from it compared to yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And, people are definitely, the photos are huge now, virtual tours are huge, but also people do want to see the house in person. So sometimes we get people who are relocating usually that will just buy a house off the pictures and virtual tours. But we had one situation where they were moving from Vermont, and they did just that, and they came to see the house at the home inspection. Doesn't happen all the time because most people want to see the house. They want to actually.
I could not imagine not physically seeing
Right,
the house.
Yeah.
and kind of feeling yourself living there
Yeah.
and picturing, So, but it does happen.
But open houses are still a good way to get buyers, right?
Oh, absolutely. Open houses really are.
Because it's like it becomes like a competition.
Right,
Especially if you have a lot of people there.
right. Open houses do more for real estate agents than they do for the homes, actually, because you're connecting with unrepresented buyers, not necessarily selling the home at open house. Sometimes if it's priced well and it's a particular home that there's not a lot of competition, then it could sell at open house. But for the most part, you're getting buyers.
That's huge.
Yep, exactly.
That's really
So I
good.
get the part about clean the closets. I get the part about clean the basement. I get the part about smell.
Yep.
How about new floor? Leave the old one or get a new one if you're selling?
Depends on what's down.
Okay.
So, of course, people like hardwood over carpet. But if you have to have carpet, I would say, either get it nice and steam cleaned, replace it. But definitely hardwood is preferred. Even the like the laminate hardwood that
Oh,
it
yeah,
looks
it's
like
very
hardwood, but it's
popular.
laminate.
Yeah, very
Even
popular.
that is very popular now instead of carpet. And then of course the yellow linoleum that was from way back when. Get rid of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay neutral.
Yeah, exactly. Neutral's best.
So how about, I've sold, how many houses? 2 houses, I think? Yeah. And every time it's try to take down the pictures of your family. Like, why?
So some agents feel that is a way for people to be able to visualize themselves without seeing someone else's family members on the wall.
Wow. I didn't think of that.
It is true to an extent if your walls are covered with family photos, but if you have them here and there,
It's not that big.
no, it's not that big of a deal. Buyers can visualize themselves unless it's like totally your style and cluttered with photos of you.
Yeah, definitely declutter as much as you can.
Absolutely.
Simple.
Less is more.
Yes.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always like to ask this question because we have a few minutes left. How do you balance it all? I heard how your mom balanced it and she had it figured out. How do you do it?
Well, at this point, I'm not married. I don't have kids, so I don't have that on my plate. So really, my life is work, and I love it. And again, it doesn't feel like work. So it works for me at this point.
Neat.
But I also, over the years, when I first got into the business, it was just work, work, work. I had no life. And over the years, I have dedicated time for myself, whether it's a day a week that I take off, or sometimes it's just an hour.
Yep.
But you know, it's an hour that's needed to just kind of decompress. And sometimes I just need to take a weekend off. And luckily, I have people that can take over for me when I just need to get away, or and those little trips are definitely worth
Needed.
it. Yes,
Yeah.
and much
Good
needed.
to know. Yeah.
So you do take vacation?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Because you need that.
Yep, absolutely. You can't just work with no break, because you'll end up getting sick, burnt out,
Absolutely.
resent the field that you're in. So
It's okay to take a break.
absolutely.
And if anyone out there is listening and they might want to go into real estate, give me a couple of pros, a couple of cons.
So there's no health benefits, no retirement.
Wow.
So you have to
You have to
kind of
plan.
do that
Figure
yourself.
that out. Yeah, that's a good point.
But it is so rewarding. The flexibility of the schedule, it's perfect for moms, or you know, really anybody that wants flexibility and they don't want to sit behind a desk from 9 to 5. And you know, I guess it could be a con, but you know, you have to hustle, and you have to be able to talk and meet with people and network, and you're always on. You're never off. When you're out for dinner with a friend, you're still on, because maybe the waitress or the bartender needs real estate help, or so you're always, and you have your phone. I mean, the
It's
phone's always
24/7,
ringing,
yeah.
always texts going off. And
Do you think text is used more now today than voice calls?
absolutely.
Do you prefer that? Or
So
depends?
it all depends. If I'm out with clients, I don't take phone calls. I like to focus on my client and give them all the attention, because it is a stressful process, and I feel like they deserve that. So text is always easiest to reach me, because I can always glance at my phone and shoot a text back, or glance at my watch.
I'll be 10 minutes.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But sometimes you do need to just have that phone call, because it is a complicated business, and
Yep.
sometimes it can't be relayed through text.
Yeah. Exactly. They'll miss, because if they have a question in between,
Right.
they can't really ask it, because it's it's
Right.
you know.
And sometimes it's just an elaborate answer that just takes too much time
Yes,
to
absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent.
text.
Well, we only have 1 minute left. This was a wonderful show.
Thanks so
And-
much.
And
for
I'm
having
very
me.
impressed. You're so young and done so much. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
We all have in common, we talked before the show, we're all Lincoln High graduates.
Yes.
I'll start with 1970.
1996.
So I left in 2008 to pursue the JAA program. So I did my senior year of high school and college at the same time. So technically I'm class of 09, but I left in 08.
Oh, that's very cool.
That is cool.
I don't even know if they had that when I was there.
It's awesome.
They still have that today?
Yeah. Yep. I think it's called the Running Start program.
The Running Start program. What a way to end the show. If anyone
Yep.
wants to know, Running Start program, that's probably most high schools in Rhode Island, I'm assuming.
Yes, so I know of it's with CCRI and Johnson and Wales.
That's wonderful. That's
Great.
great. Now that was great information too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Amanda. It's a great show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely.